Tonight, the gloves are off. What started as whispers in the love and hip-hop universe has exploded into an all-out war. And at the center of it are two couples who know drama better than anyone. Kirk and Rasheeda Frost versus Yandy Smith and Mendeecees. Harris. For years, tension has simmered quietly beneath the surface-subtle shade. Side eyes at reunions and cryptic posts that fans swore meant something more. But now, the truth has ripped wide open, and Kirk and Rasheeda aren't holding back anymore. Sources say the Frosts have dropped bombshell revelations that leave Yandy and Mendeecees exposed in ways no one saw coming, secrets that were supposed to stay buried, receipts no one thought would see daylight, and accusations that could fracture alliances across the entire love and hip-hop franchise. We're talking leaked messages, hushed phone calls, financial betrayals, and skeletons so dark they could ruin reputations forever. And the way Rasheeda delivered these truths, ruthless, unfiltered, explosive. But here's the twist, Yandy and Mendeecees aren't going down quietly. Insiders are already hinting that clapbacks are coming. And the secrets Kirk and Rasheeda dared to reveal may ignite a feud so massive it could tear families, friendships, and business empires apart. This isn't just dramats. The war fans have been waiting years to see. And tonight, you're getting every hidden detail they never wanted you to know. The night started with whispers, the kind that usually float around social media with no legs to stand on. But then the whispers grew louder. Screenshots began surfacing. And by the time the clock hit midnight, the Frosts were trending worldwide. Kirk and Rasheeda had finally had enough. And instead of staying quiet like they had so many times before, they went live together, and the bombs they dropped sent shockwaves through the love and hip-hop community. At first, fans thought it would just be another emotional rant, another vague post meant to stir speculation. But the second Rasheeda's face appeared on the screen, eyes cold and steady, and Kirk sat beside her with a look that screamed, "I'm done with the games." Everyone watching knew this wasn't going to be ordinary. The comments section exploded instantly, tens of thousands flooding in with what happened. Where's Jasmine? Why now? But it wasn't Jasmine this time. Rasheeda leaned forward, her voice sharp, her words heavy. We're not talking about Jasmine. Tonight, we're talking about Yandy. We're talking about Mendeecees, and we're talking about the truth. The internet stopped breathing. Within seconds, the live was screen recorded by multiple accounts, the footage going viral before the Frosts had even finished speaking. And the revelations started pouring out. According to Rasheeda, she and Kirk had been sitting on receipts. For months, receipts that tied Yandy and Mendeecees to backroom deals, unspoken betrayals, and two-faced behavior behind the cameras. The first bomb came in the form of leaked text messages, allegedly between Mendeecees and a well-known promoter in Atlanta. The messages showed Mendeecees cutting side deals for appearances, pocketing extra money and never disclosing it to production, or even to Yandy. The screenshots were plastered on the live stream, with Kirk holding his phone up to the camera, his voice dripping with contempt. This is the man y'all think is solid. This is the man y'all defend. Look at him plotting in text messages like no one was ever going to find out. Well, fans went wild. The comments flew faster than the live could keep up. Not Mendeecees stealing money on the side. Yandy knew and played dumb. He'd been finessing the industry. The revelation was massive. But Rasheeda wasn't done. She leaned in closer, her voice cutting like a blade. And don't think Yandy didn't know. She's been covering for him. She's been cleaning up his mess behind the scenes while fronting like she's the perfect wife. But let me tell y'all something, perfect wives don't hide dirt this deep. Then came the audio, muffled, grainy recording, but unmistakably Yandy's voice. In the clip, she could be heard saying, "If this ever gets out, it'll ruin us. Just move the money before they start asking questions." The live chat went nuclear. Fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. Did Yandy just admit to hiding money? One comment read, Others screamed in disbelief, demanding that Rasheeda play the rest of the tape. Kirk smirked at the screen, his voice steady. That's just the beginning. We've got more. What followed next was the kind of revelation that turns drama into warfare. Rasheeda claimed that Yandy had been secretly feeding blogs, stories, about her and Kirk for years. Every time a Jasmine scandal exploded, every time rumors about Kirk's cheating resurfaced with suspiciously detailed receipts, Rasheeda alleged that Yandy was behind it. You wonder why every private detail about me ended up on the blogs, Rasheeda said, eyes narrowing. Because Yandy was whispering to the right people. Acting like my friend on camera, but selling me out when the lights went off. Betrayal was almost too much for fans to process. Twitter exploded within minutes, with thousands posting side-by-side clips of Yandy and Rasheeda hugging on Love and Hip Hop reunions versus Rasheeda's accusations. Now, fake friend energy? One tweet read, Yandy, been a snake. The hashtags #YandyY exposed and #Frost receipts trended side by side. But the Frosts weren't satisfied with just dragging reputations. They came for personal lives too. Kirk leaned forward, his tone darker now. He alleged that Mendeecees hadn't been faithful to Yandy during his parole. According to Kirk, multiple women had reached out over the years with stories, photos, even alleged hotel receipts. He kept quiet, Kirk said, his eyes locked on the screen. We didn't want to be the ones to destroy their family. Since they want to play in ours, since they want to throw shade, we're putting it out there. Yandy's been lying to y'all. Her marriage ain't perfect. Never was. The live chat erupted in disbelief. Not Mendeecees cheating too. The hypocrisy is insane. So they really all messy behind the scenes? The Frosts had the internet in a chokehold. Every sentence more explosive than the last. And then came the receipts that left even the most skeptical fans stunned. Kirk pulled up a folder of screenshots allegedly sent by one of Mendeecees' side flings. The images weren't explicit, but they showed messages arranging meetups, photos of hotel lobbies, and one particularly damning selfie of Mendeecees sitting in a car outside a woman's apartment. The timestamp matched a weekend Yandy had publicly posted as family time. The comments section spiraled into chaos. Supporters of Yandy rushed to defend her, claiming the evidence could be fake. Others demanded she speak up immediately. The internet was officially split in half. And the Frosts were reveling in the destruction they had unleashed. Rasheeda wasn't finished, though. Her voice shook, but not with fear, with fury. I let that woman sit in my house. I let her talk to me about loyalty, about standing by your man, when all along she was stabbing me in the back. And for what? To look like the queen of the show. To look perfect while the rest of us bleed. Our words were heavy, dripping with the kind of betrayal that fans couldn't ignore, just when viewers thought the Frosts had unloaded everything. Rasheeda dropped one final revelation for the night. With her voice steady, she said, "There's one more thing, and this is the part that even production tried to bury. Yandy and Mendeecees tried to sabotage me and Kirk's businesses. They didn't just want the spotlight, they wanted us broke. They wanted us out, and I've got the proof." Kirk held up what looked like messages exchanged with investors, where Yandy allegedly undermined Rasheeda's brand, claiming she wasn't trustworthy, warning people not to work with her. That's why deals fell through. That's why checks stopped coming. And all this time I thought it was me. But it was her, Rasheeda said, her eyes filling with tears. The chat went wild. Fans begging them to drop every email, every screenshot. "This is bigger than cheating," one viewer typed. "This is sabotage." Others demanded Yandy go live immediately, accusing her of career assassination. The Frosts sat back, letting the chaos consume the internet. And just as the live neared its end, Rasheeda leaned in one last time, her words chilling. "We've got more. This was just part one. they don't come clean, if they don't admit what they've done, we'll burn it all down. Every lie, every secret, every dirty little move, they'll all come out. The screen went black, the live ended. World was left breathless. The second the Frost's live ended, the internet didn't even pause to breathe. Twitter was a firestorm. Instagram pages that thrive on tea posted clips within minutes, each headline more dramatic than the last. But while fans were dissecting every frame, every screenshot, every whispered word, Yandy and Mendeecees were already plotting their counterattack. They weren't going to sit back and let their names get dragged through the mud. Not by Kirk and Rasheeda. Not tonight. Not tonight. The first sign came when Yandy posted a black screen on her Instagram story with just 4 words. "Y'all gon' regret this." The internet froze. Within 30 seconds, blogs had screenshotted it. Is Yandy threatening Kirk and Rasheeda? What does she mean by regret? Receipts incoming? The anticipation built so quickly it was like gasoline waiting for a match. An hour later, Yandy went live. But unlike Rasheeda's furious, tear-laced rage, Yandy's energy was ice cold. Her voice calm, her face flawless, her tone clipped. "Let's get something straight," she said, looking directly into the camera. "Y'all love a story, y'all love a scandal. But what you're not gonna do is make me and my husband out to be something we're not. I don't know what Kirk and Rasheeda are drinking, but I promise you whatever they showed y'all tonight was fake. Fabricated lies." But before she could even finish, comments started flooding in. "So that wasn't your voice on the audio? So Mendeecees didn't text that promoter? So those emails aren't real?" The audience wasn't buying it, not fully. And that's when Mendeecees stepped into frame. He was visibly angry, pacing behind Yandy before sitting down beside her. His voice was louder, roar, filled with contempt. "Kirk Frost, wanna play with my name? It's a man who can't even control his own house. A man who let Jasmine embarrass him worldwide. You want to drag me down to your level? Let's talk about who you really are." And just like that, the war escalated. Mendeecees pulled out his own phone and started scrolling. "They want to talk about text messages. Cool. Here's one from Kirk begging a promoter not to cancel his booking because Rasheeda refused to show up. Here's Kirk crying about money being tight, saying he needs an advance just to keep his store open." That's who Kirk is. It's the businessman y'all look up to. He waved the phone at the camera, and though the screenshots weren't fully clear, the narrative was enough. Fans were eating it up. But Yandy wasn't done. She leaned forward, her voice colder now. "Rasheeda wants to say I leaked her scandals to the blogs. Let's be real. Rasheeda been feeding the blogs herself. Every time her storyline dried up, she gave them something to keep her name in the mix. That Jasmine drama. Half of that came from Rasheeda's own circle. She needed the clicks. She needed the pity. And now she want to act like it was me. Girl, stop lying." The live comments split instantly. Some fans screamed that Yandy was deflecting. Others believed every word. "They all snakes," one comment read. "Ain't no loyalty in this cast." Another typed, "I knew Rasheeda milked that Jasmine mess for clout." The internet was spiraling again, and insiders watching it unfold claimed producers were panicking. If this war escalated further, it would ruin entire storylines planned for the next season of Love and Hip Hop. But Yandy wasn't scared of producers. She was scared of silence, and silence wasn't an option anymore. She reached down, pulled out a folder of her own receipts, and that's when the energy shifted. Her first weapon. Alleged emails between Rasheeda and a boutique investor. In these emails, Rasheeda supposedly undercut Yandy's brand, spreading whispers that Yandy's clothing line was just cheap imports from China with inflated price tags. The live chat lost its mind. Not Rasheeda sabotaging Yandy's brand. This is dirty business. Whether the emails were real or not didn't matter. The damage was already done. Fans were already screenshotting, already choosing sides. Then Mendeecees dropped his own bomb. He claimed Kirk once tried to set him up literally. According to Mendeecees, years ago when they were both negotiating appearances in Atlanta. Kirk secretly recorded one of their private meetings, planning to edit the audio and leak it if things ever went sour. "That's the kind of man Kirk is," Mendeecees said, eyes blazing. "He smiles in your face, but he's always plotting, always got a scheme ready, and y'all wonder why nobody trusts him." The audience gasped in real time. Kirk, a snake. This just keeps getting worse. Everybody recording everybody. The revelations turned the drama into a full-blown civil war. And yet, Yandy wasn't finished. Her final card of the night came with a whisper. She lowered her voice, forcing the live audience to lean in. "And since we're talking about loyalty, let's talk about the truth between Kirk and Rasheeda. Y'all think they're solid? Y'all think their marriage survived all that drama?" Kirk, about the deal he made behind Rasheeda's back. Ask him about the woman he promised to check to if she kept quiet. That's the real tea. That's why he's so desperate to point at me, because he don't want you pointing at him. The comments section imploded. What woman? Kirk. Cheating again? Not another secret payout. Fans demanded details, but Yandy refused to elaborate. "I've said enough for tonight," she whispered, her eyes locked on the screen. "If they come for me again, I'll show you all the paperwork. And then it's game over." The live ended, leaving viewers screaming at their phones, desperate for more. Within minutes, clips of Yandy and Mendeecees live were everywhere. Blogs spliced their footage against the Frosts' earlier live, creating a side-by-side battle of accusations. Twitter ran wild with memes, fans posting reaction gifs of explosions, fire, and betrayal. Hashtags like #Frost vs Harris and #Love and Hip Hop Civil War started trending globally. And while the internet feasted on chaos, insiders whispered that things were even uglier behind the scenes. Allegedly, production had called emergency meetings, furious that so much raw drama had spilled outside their control. "They're burning storylines we haven't even filmed yet," one anonymous crew member leaked. Another source claimed Mona Scott Young herself was on the phone, threatening to cut checks if anyone exposed more secrets before cameras were rolling. But it was too late. The floodgates had opened. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was silent. Fans stalked her social media, waiting for her to clap back, but instead of posting, she wiped her comments section clean. Every photo locked down, every comment turned off. The silence only fueled speculation. Was Rasheeda broken by Yandy's accusations? Or was she preparing for an even deadlier counterstrike? By morning, the blogs had already turned the feud into a soap opera. Headlines screamed, "Yandy exposes Frost's money problems. Mendeecees calls Kirk a snake with receipts. Love and hip hop divided forever." Fans were split into factions. #Team Frost versus #Team Yandy. And both sides swore they had the truth. But deep in Atlanta, whispers started circulating about something even bigger, an alleged vault of unreleased footage. It's filmed off camera years ago, where Yandy and Rasheeda confronted each other privately. The rumor claimed producers had buried the footage, fearing it would destroy both women's reputations. Now, insiders said that footage might resurface. If that tape leaks, one insider warned, it's over for all of them. The internet was primed, the audience hooked, and everyone waited for the next blow. And when Rasheeda finally reappeared, she wasn't alone. She had Kirk by her side again, their expressions darker than ever. They had seen Yandy's live, and they weren't backing down. They were ready to escalate this war beyond anything Love and Hip Hop had ever seen. Because if Yandy wanted to drag out Kirk's old secrets, the Frosts were about to reveal something so dangerous, so scandalous, could break Mendeecees and Yandy's marriage forever. The only question left was, would the world even be ready for what came next? By the time Rasheeda finally re-emerged online, the internet was starving for her response. The silence had been deafening, almost unbearable, with fans refreshing her page every 5 minutes, convinced she was broken by Yandy's attack. But when she finally appeared, it wasn't tears, it wasn't weakness, It was rage, sharp and unflinching. And she didn't come alone. Kirk sat right beside her, arms crossed, face tight with fury. The look in his eyes said it all. They weren't about to defend themselves. They were about to go for blood. Rasheeda's first words shattered the quiet like glass. "You want to play with my name, Yandy? Do you want to sit up here and act like you're innocent while throwing dirt on my marriage? Let's really talk about who you are." She slammed her phone on the table, pulling up messages, screenshots, and voice notes like she'd been waiting for this moment for years. The first clip she played was a voice note of, "Cool." Yandy allegedly whispering to a promoter about booking her without Mendeecees' knowledge. The audio was grainy, but the voice was undeniable. Fans leaned in as the words echoed. "He don't need to know it's business." The internet froze. If this was real, it meant Yandy had been running side deals behind her husband's back, pocketing money under the radar. The live chat exploded. "Yandy ain't loyal. Not hiding money from Mendeecees." My God, this is huge. Kirk leaned forward then, his voice cutting like a blade. "She wanna call me broke? She wanna call me a snake? Let's tell the truth. Yandy been financing side projects that Mendeecees don't even know about. And the crazy part, some of those deals came from my connections. She stole from me too. The betrayal sent shockwaves. True, Yandy wasn't just a victim of gossip. She was orchestrating her own empire in the shadows, cutting corners and cutting people out. Fans were torn. Some called Kirk a liar, trying to twist narratives. Others said it explained everything. But Rasheeda wasn't finished. She opened another file and read aloud emails allegedly showing Yandy reaching out to gossip bloggers, feeding them tidbits about Rasheeda's marriage. Not Jasmine, not anonymous sources Cindy herself. "Y'all remember when the Jasmine baby story blew up?" Rasheeda asked, her voice steady. "Remember how the details hit the blogs before it hit the show? Guess who was behind that? Moana, not production, Yandy." She held the phone to the camera, scrolling through subject lines and messages, even if fans doubted the receipts. The suggestion alone was enough to shake the room. But the biggest blow of the night didn't come from Rasheeda, it came from Kirk. He leaned into the camera, his eyes cold, his tone deadly serious. "You want to talk about loyalty? You want to call me a snake? Let's talk about how you really got out of prison. You told the world it was appeals, good behavior, your lawyers fighting. But I know the truth. You cut deals. You snitched on people you used to run with. And I got proof." The live chat went insane. Did Kirk just call Mendeecees a snitch? Nitrogen way, he said that. "Oh my God, this is about to get dangerous." Rasheeda looked at him, half in shock that he'd gone that far. But Kirk doubled down. He pulled out what he claimed were court documents and confidential memos, waving them in front of the camera. "You ain't the solid man you claim to be. You left your people behind. You ratted, and that's why you came home early. Tell me, I'm lying." The internet went feral. Fans typed in all caps, demanding the paperwork be dropped immediately. Blogs clipped the moment and pushed headlines faster than ever. Kirk Frost accuses Mendeecees of snitching with receipts. Twitter turned it into a bloodbath, half calling Kirk reckless, half saying this could ruin Mendeecees' reputation forever. And just when it seemed like nothing could top that bombshell, Rasheeda delivered her final dagger. She leaned forward. "Calm now, too calm. Yandy, want to talk about loyalty, about marriage? Let me ask you something, Sisware. Were you last summer when Mendeecees wasn't posting you? When he was out in Atlanta at the same club I was in? Who is that girl sitting next to him? 'Cause it wasn't you." Fans screamed through the comments. Rasheeda dropped the cheating bomb. Who was Mendeecees with? This is too much. And then Kirk added gasoline to the fire. "I got pictures." He pulled out his phone and held it to the camera, blurry but clear enough to show Mendeecees at a table, a woman's hand on his shoulder. The internet stopped breathing. Screenshots flooded timelines instantly. Fans zooming in, circling the mystery woman, demanding answers. Yandy hadn't even responded yet, but the damage was already nuclear. Hashtags like hashtag Mendeecees exposed and hashtag Yandy lies trended within minutes. Memes popped up comparing Yandy to Rasheeda, showing both women in tears, both men accused of betrayal. The entire cast crumbling under the weight of their own secrets. But behind the entertainment, there was a darker current. Insiders claimed the accusations about Mendeecees cutting deals could have real consequences. Not just for his reputation, but for his safety. One anonymous source whispered that Mendeecees' old associates weren't happy seeing his name tied to snitch allegations. "This ain't TV beef no more," the insider warned. "This could get real dangerous." Meanwhile, production was in chaos. Reports leaked that emergency contracts were being drafted, demanding cast members stop going live with incriminating information. Mona Scott-Young was allegedly on the phone all night, furious that her empire was spiraling out of control. But it was too late. Once the internet had the blood, there was no pulling it back. By morning, the blogs had turned it into a historic feud. Headlines read, "The Frosts destroy Yandy and Mendeecees. Snitching, cheating, and leaked emails. The civil war of love and hip-hop." Fans picked sides. But this time, the majority weren't on Yandy's team. The accusations cut too deep. The photos of Mendeecees with another woman spread too fast. And Yandy's silence was deafening. Still, the most explosive whisper came hours later. An anonymous account dropped a teaser clip, grainy, dimly lit footage that looked like it came from a hidden camera. In the clip, Yandy's voice could allegedly be heard saying, "As long as nobody finds out about the deal, Mendeecees will be fine." The video ended abruptly, cutting off before more could be revealed, but fans went berserk. Was it fake? Was it real? Nobody knew, but the internet treated it like gospel. Now the world waits. Will Yandy and Mendeecees clap back with proof to save their image? Will the Frosts risk releasing more paperwork that could put real lives in danger? And most importantly, who leaked that mysterious hidden footage? And what else is in it? Because one thing is certain, this isn't just reality TV anymore. This is war. And the next move could end careers or expose secrets no one was ever supposed to hear. And there you have it, bombshells. Betrayals and secrets, so dark they were never supposed to see the light of day. Kirk and Rasheeda didn't just clap back, they burned the house down with accusations that could shake Yandy and Mendeecees' entire legacy. But the biggest question lingers: what happens next? Will Yandy fight fire with fire? Or will the silence confirm everything the Frosts claimed? Will Mendeecees risk his reputation by addressing those snitch allegations? Or is the damage already done? Here's the truth. We're only scratching the surface. It's the footage, the receipts, the whispered deals behind closed doors. There's more coming. And when it drops, you're going to want to be the first to know. This isn't just love and hip-hop drama anymore. This is a war with real stakes, real receipts, and real consequences. That's why you need to hit that subscribe button right now. Because the next update could change everything. Drop a comment below. Whose side are you on? Team Frost or Team Harris? And don't just watch, be part of the conversation, because the fans are driving this story as much as the stars are. Smash that like button if you're as shocked as we are. And make sure your notifications are on, because trust me, you don't want to be late when the next round of receipts hits. This is bigger than a feud. This is history in the making. And the truth. It's only getting darker from here.